And welcome back, everybody, to a podcast in space and time. I'm Holden B. Huffman.
And I'm Kendal Coffee.
And today, we're changing things up a bit. We're actually going to be doing a ranking of Series 1 of Doctor Who and a series overview of just our thoughts of the season as a whole and how it holds up and just how it holds up to future seasons. So we will be getting into spoiler territory for that section. But first, we're going to start off with our rankings, and we won't have any spoilers in that section. But once we get into our series overview, definitely spoilers. We'll let you know. So, Kendal, do you want to start us off with your number 13?
Yeah. So number 13 for me, my least favorite of the season. This is probably going to surprise no one, but it's World War III.
That's my number 11.
Huh, interesting. It's just, there's something about the Slovene that it just makes the whole experience of watching this episode kind of unpleasant.
It really does. And like, I would have it at my number 13, like my least favorite, but there are two redeeming qualities in this episode.
Okay.
Me personally.
Uh-huh.
Jackie and Mickey.
That's fair.
They really shine in this episode.
Yeah, I think they have some really good moments. It's not really a bad episode. I don't think there's a bad episode this season, like just bad, but it's definitely the worst, in my opinion. Can I take a guess on what your 13 is?
Yes.
I'm going to guess yours is The Unquiet Dead.
Wrong.
Oh. What is it?
It is The Long Game.
Okay. See, that's my number 11. So we flip-flop there.
Yeah, little flip-flop. Yeah, so no, I was bored throughout this whole thing.
No, that's fair.
It was screaming a message. It's like, yes, we get it. We get it. We get it.
Very on the nose, kind of uncreative in a lot of aspects.
And throwing Adam Mitchell in there doesn't help it at all.
Adam really brings the whole thing down for sure.
And then the giant alien Zit as well. Just ugh.
And the Zit doesn't really do anything either. It's like both a bad design and also just kind of a boring villain, which I guess.
And apparently the Daleks have already been in control, and they were in control of this creature.
Right.
Like, what?
Which I guess, technically the villain of the episode was Simon Pegg, and I think he was like the one kind of redeeming quality, but, you know. Again,
but he didn't go on full villainy because he had a master.
Yeah, he didn't really.
And it turns out that master had a master.
And that master had another master.
And his name was actually the Master. No.
Oh, the Master was behind it all this whole time.
Spoiler alert!
Spoilers for all of Doctor Who ever.
Yeah, no.
That does seem to be the case with Doctor Who, though. You find out, the Master was really behind it the whole time. And we're like, well,
yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
The Master.
Yeah. Spoilers! For old Who and new Who, spoilers.
Yeah. Just always assume the Master is behind it, probably, and you'll be
always assume either the Master or the Daleks are behind it.
Yeah, or the Cybermen somewhere down the line,
or
all three. Maybe they're all working together.
Nowadays the Master's always hanging out with the Cybermen, so. I don't understand that. I
can't even blame Moffat for that because he's not the only one who's done it.
Right. Okay. What's your number 12?
My number 12 is Aliens of London.
That's my number 10.
Okay. I think that's fair. Again, it's very much brought down by being a Slovene episode for me. Although it's a lot lighter on the Slovene.
It is, although it has the most fart jokes.
It does have the most fart jokes, and that's the thing that really just makes me not want to watch this episode very much.
And the only reason it has a redeeming quality for me to be higher up on my list than it is yours, you know me, I love a good bad movie.
Yeah, no, I feel that.
I love bad media like Neil Breen, Tommy Wiseau, Fateful Findings, The Room, Birdemic, Shock and Terror, Troll 2. I could go Samurai Cop. I could go on and on.
Yeah.
And also apologies for any external noises you might hear in this episode. It just happens.
It happens.
It happens. But
You know.
yeah, just that's why it's a little higher up on my list, just because I'm a big fan of bad movies.
Yeah, I will say, redeeming quality of this episode for me is definitely kind of the tension, the build up to the aliens, but
once you see them,
right. Once you actually see the aliens, then you're like, oh, well, I got excited for absolutely nothing.
Yeah. I mean, it's like any monster movie nowadays. They always take the Jaws effect of like huge build up to the monster, and then it's kind of underwhelming.
Yeah, for sure. And the Slitheen are an underwhelming monster in
very
different ways.
It's like if the Stay Puffed Marshmallow Man was green.
Yeah.
It's
green and farted a lot.
It's like Slimer and the Stay Puffed Marshmallow Man had a love child.
Dude, I was about to make a Slimer reference.
That's the Slitheen right there.
It's like if there was another Ghostbusters movie and they just made it really, really bad.
Mm-hmm. Here's hopes to the new Ghostbusters movie coming out next year.
We'll see.
I mean, hey, it's got Paul Rudd. It's got Paul Rudd.
That's true. I do love some Paul Rudd.
Okay, my number 12 is The Unquiet Dead.
Okay.
The only reason I gave it just a little more headway than The Long Game is because I just worked a 7-hour shift and I was dead tired.
Yeah.
So I've got to give it a little bit of redeeming qualities just because of the circumstances I was in.
I feel like overall it's a slightly less just boring episode than The Long Game.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I had a hard time with my bottom 4 because there were the bad episodes and there were the boring episodes. And
right.
I think I just ranked the bad episodes a little like not necessarily bad, but kind of the episodes that I just don't really care to watch.
Mm-hmm.
I ranked them slightly lower than the ones that were just kind of boring.
Mm-hmm. And another reason I gave it a little more credit than The Long Game is because it's Charles Dickens, and I played The Ghost of Christmas Yet to Come in A Christmas Carol play. I've just got a little bit of more personal connection to it because of that. Not much, just a little bit. That's why I made it my second least favorite.
Yeah, I ranked The Unquiet Dead number 10.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was mostly because the setting was of these 4 episodes we've discussed so far, and it's funny that our bottom 4 are the same, but
right. Well, I mean, we really do have a lot of the same opinions when it comes to Doctor Who.
Yeah, of these bottom 4 episodes, it's definitely got the most interesting setting, and there's like, and I love A Christmas Carol. Like it's a fun story. I don't know if everybody would call it fun, but I find it fun, I guess.
I mean, once you've seen the Muppet Christmas Carol.
But yeah, I mean, it's it's kind of spooky. There's ghosts. There's and it's got that Christmas Carol vibe, and like I just love anything kind of Christmassy themed,
right?
Like, especially in like kind of this older London with like it's just a fun setting to me, so that elevates it a little bit,
right?
Whereas you have World War III and Aliens of London, literally it's just London.
Yeah. Okay, what's your number 9?
Okay, so number 9 for me is Rose.
Oh, that's my number 8.
Rose is honestly like from this point on, I wouldn't call any of these episodes like
I
bad
was about to
episodes.
say this. I was going to say the same thing. The rest are good episodes. It's just some are better than the others.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, these are all episodes that like I enjoy watching, and I would if I was going to watch this season, but like was in a hurry, these are the 9 episodes I would not skip. You know,
Right. Yeah.
whereas the other 4, I might just skip them
Hmm.
because I got other things to do.
Right.
But yeah, I really like Rose. I think it's a fun introduction to the season. It's a
Hmm.
fun villain.
Definitely. Definitely.
And there's something about meeting a new doctor for, I guess not the first time, but for their first episode, and really
Hmm.
getting a sense for who they are. That is a really fun aspect of Doctor Who to me.
And then you've got the famous line, pizza,
Pizza.
pizza. We're going to be making this joke to our graves.
I will like that will be on my tombstone. Will be pizza. Okay, what's your number 9?
My number 9 is Father's Day.
Okay.
And the only reason I really do like this episode, but the only reason it's ranked lower than the rest is because of continuity errors with future Doctor Who and past Doctor Who episodes. It's just you never see the monsters ever again. You've never seen them before, and you never see them ever again.
Yeah, no, I feel that, and I think it would probably. I have a hard time with this episode because of that. Because like, I can't blame the writers of this episode for bringing this new element in. They explain why. You know, they explain why these creatures have come when they didn't before, is because the Time Lords are gone.
Right.
I think this episode, the problem is really only a big deal in hindsight,
Right.
which makes it difficult to say like, okay, this was bad writing. I mean, I don't
It's not.
necessarily
It's a
think
good episode. It's just it's me with the knowledge of the future of what's to come with Doctor Who.
Yeah, and I think that makes it really difficult to purely enjoy the episode when you know like none of this is actually going to matter later. I mean, it matters for Rose, obviously,
Right.
but as far as the greater continuity of Doctor Who, it doesn't really matter.
Right. So where is this in your ranking?
So in my ranking, Father's Day is number 8.
Oh, dude, we're neck and neck. We are neck and neck.
What's your number 8?
My number 8 was Rose.
Okay, so we did flip flop again.
Yeah.
Huh.
Why do I get the feeling that's all this is going to be, flip flopping?
I don't know. I feel like there may be some surprises once we get farther along.
Yeah.
I was actually a little surprised what my like number 1 was, because I thought it was going to be something else.
Oh, really?
Okay.
I'm interested.
So
I'm interested then.
we'll get there.
Yeah.
Number 7.
Oh, me. That's me.
How about you go first? Because we've been doing me first.
My number 7 is The End of the World.
Okay.
Like it's great qualities, great aliens, great sets, great designs, everything. It just I prefer the other episodes more. The rest I just prefer more.
It's a very good episode to me, and I really enjoy. I actually ranked it number 6. And
how much you want to bet my number 6 is your number 7?
Probably. We probably flip flopped again. Yeah, I ranked it there because like I really enjoy the setting and just all the different aliens, and I think it was a bold choice to like throw us into a very alien episode on number 2. Yeah, like it was a good idea to like start us out in Cardiff. London. Or was it London?
It's technically London, but I'm sure they filmed a lot of it in Cardiff.
They probably filmed it in Cardiff, yeah.
Except for the major key London scenes.
Yeah, the big the Eye,
the Eye of London, and then you got some scenes of Big Ben.
Right. All those important monuments they had to get in there to remind you
Right.
this is a British show.
Right.
What were you talking about?
The End of the World.
Oh yeah, End of the World. Yeah, I thought it was fun to like throw us into a very alien episode on episode 2, and like we kind of see the two extremes in a way between episode 1 and 2. We see a very familiar setting with a weird twist, and then we see a very alien setting, but there's still something familiar about it. We still see the Earth, and we see like literally the end of the world, as far as you could go. Or not as far as you could go. Doctor Who goes farther later, but as far as Rose has ever been, and really putting the universe into perspective for her.
Right.
Right.
Okay. What's your number 6?
My number 6. I think I said. Oh wait.
Oh, that was your number 6.
That was my number 6. My number 7 was.
See, I'm getting confused doing it this way.
Sorry, it is a little bit confusing.
Yeah. Sorry, your number 7.
My number 7 is The Parting of the Ways.
Oh, here we go. Now we've got some change.
I was actually surprised at how low I ranked it, because it is a good episode. It's a very good episode. I think for me, the thing about this episode was there are just a lot of episodes I like a lot more. And it's, I mean, in a way, it's kind of a fairly, I don't want to say it's a fairly run-of-the-mill Doctor Who episode, but it doesn't stand out to me a whole lot, even though it's a very good episode. And there are a lot of things I enjoy about it. It just doesn't really like stick out as like, oh, I love that episode in my mind. It's more like, oh, that's a good episode.
Well, here's the thing. It's my number 3.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're really mixing it up.
Yeah, I really enjoy the parallels of like the Doctor and like destroying the Daleks and like the Earth and everything, and like the parallels to like what he's done in the Time War and everything. It just really resonates with me with that. And I know we talked about the Daleks just kind of being like not as intimidating when there are more of them, which is true. But I loved the concept of them, like they just so happen to survive, and now they think they've gone mad through it, because we don't really see any rabid Daleks like this. We only see that in one more episode that I can think of, Asylum of the Daleks, in a later season, but you don't really see insane Daleks all that much.
Right. I mean, I guess they are insane, but they're insane in a very Dalek kind of way. They have kind of their level of insanity that you're used to.
Right.
And this episode really pushes the boundaries of that. And I love the Dalek Emperor with like the God complex, and I do really love the stuff with the Doctor. His conflict in that episode. So again, very good episode, just not super high on my list compared to others.
Right. Okay. My number 6, since your number 6 was The End of the World, my number 6 is Boomtown.
Okay. Huh. That's my number 2.
Oh, wow. No, I can understand. For me, the only reason it's not ranked higher is because the worst fart joke yet.
I mean, yeah, I feel that.
And they're just, the other episodes had more redeeming qualities for me, in my opinion.
Yeah, for me, I really like this episode just because there's such a compelling conflict with the Doctor and with
Margaret.
Yeah, I just found their conflict very compelling. I found the resolution, even though it was a little bit contrived, I thought it was perfectly suited to the sort of theme of the episode, and just like what
of
characters really desired.
Second chances.
Yeah, for sure. I thought that was really nice, a nice way to resolve it, even if it was a little bit contrived. And I just loved a good like dramatic episode with not really much in the way of action or this is just very, very dramatic, very sort of suspenseful in a way.
Right.
But really just mostly about the conflict between these two characters.
I can understand that.
Wait, did we talk about your number 7?
Yes, we did. It was The End of the World.
Okay. Okay.
So what's your number 5?
Else to say about...
No, I don't. I don't have anything else to say about Boomtown. That's about all it. That's about it.
Cool.
What's your number 5?
My number 5 is Bad Wolf.
Hey, we finally have one that matches.
Hey, look at that. Yeah, it's just fun. It's a very fun episode. It being like, a part 1 to a greater story, I think is probably why I don't super rank it higher. But there are just more. There are other episodes I just like a lot more. But yeah, I just love the game show setting. I love
it. Is very good.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun to see like each one of them. Jack, the Doctor, and Rose kind of dealing with a different game and kind of their unique approaches to it.
Right.
I love the weirdness of it with like the android, with like the robots and Jack being naked and like
that's why it's your number 5.
No, there's just like a lot of really weird moments that you don't get a lot of moments that you see in this episode like later in Doctor Who.
It's true. It's true.
There's something about this season that is just has like kind of an unabashed weirdness to it.
It's true. It is very true, and it's a really good episode. Gosh, I was trying to think of a downside to it, but I can't.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really think of like much of a downside to this episode.
Well, that's good.
That's why it's so high.
Yeah. Okay, my number 4 is The Empty Child.
Oh, same.
Yes!
Our list might be like almost
point.
The same from here on out, actually.
Well, except for number 2, because we both know our number 2s are different.
Yeah, Empty Child is just really good. Just a great suspenseful build-up.
And it's so creepy and eerie. And plus, we get our favorite non-companion companion.
We get Jack.
It's
the Jack episode. We just like Jack. Yeah, I mean, a lot of great moments in this episode. Just very creepy. And I mean, really the big downer for this episode for me is, again, Rose.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't even be a downer if it weren't for
Mickey Smith. If Mickey just didn't exist at all.
I would honestly I would have no problems with anything Rose does if Mickey did not exist.
Right.
Or if they were not dating, supposedly.
Like if they had just broken up during like the Aliens of London episode.
Yeah, we could have like gone the rest of the season just like enjoying Rose and being cool with, her having a good time. Like, I don't care about that. It's just like, hey, we forgot about Mickey.
Mickey, hello.
Mickey,
forget about him. And it's just, mommy.
Mommy. Are you my
I've been looking for something. It would have fallen out of the sky with a loud bang.
And everybody laughs. There's a lot of good jokes in this episode too. I think we think of it as a very like kind of dark episode, which it is in a way, but
it's got some good jokes.
Doctor Who does a good job of, even in its kind of dark episodes, making some good jokes in a way that doesn't detract from like the dramatic tension.
Right.
Which I think is an issue we see with like, you see this issue with like Marvel movies. People don't really talk about it much, but DC also does this. there'll just be some like very out of place jokes when things are
and for
supposed to be serious.
all the Snyder fans, they're going, no, that was only in Justice League when Joss Whedon took over and changed it. I'm like, have you even seen Man of Steel or BVS?
BVS had some real cornballs.
Yeah, like Man of Steel, like there was a perfect scene, and then all of a sudden it was ruined by, I just think he's kind of hot. It's like, well, there went that great scene.
Probably the worst offender for this kind of thing though is the battle at the end of the Two Towers, Lord of the Rings.
Oh, really?
What's that battle called? What's that place?
Not Gondor. Wait, is it Gondor? Yeah, Gondor.
Yeah, the battle for Gondor. Just like it's supposed to be this really like world-changing event, but then you have Legolas and Gimli, like
would you like me to describe it to you, or would you like me to find you a box?
Right, and like I love some good short jokes or whatever, but do we have to do this in the middle of the battle?
Oh, the battle hadn't started yet, so.
Well, yeah, but still, it was like the big dramatic like build up to this battle that there's supposed to be all this tension and like, you're making short jokes and like counting your kills and
right. That still only counts as one.
Legolas. Well, I think that was actually the next movie.
That was Return.
Yeah. But Legolas, like, slides down some stairs on a shield like a surfboard. Like, there's just some moments during that scene that I'm like, okay, well.
Right. Well, thank you for joining us for our Lord of the Rings podcast.
Tune in next time when we discuss the Hobbit trilogy.
Oh, don't get me started. I've still not seen this last two of them.
Okay, what were we talking about?
We just got done with our number four.
Okay, so number 3.
I already said what my number 3 is, so you go ahead.
My number 3 is The Doctor Dances.
That's my number 2. It's my number 2.
Yeah, I had a hard. It was a big debate between 2 and 3 for me. But maybe this is just like putting those 2 episodes like together on the list just felt right, but I do really like the Doctor Dances. I guess it being a part 2, I just had a lot less thoughts.
I can understand that.
Yeah, as an individual, maybe if I put like the 2 parts together, I don't know, maybe I would feel differently.
I would do that, but I considered doing that. But I've considered episodes to come, and there are just some 2-parters. It's like one is really good, but the second part's just really bad. It would be difficult to rank them.
Yeah, no, I feel that. And I think, these 2 episodes are both very good episodes. And, I do think the Doctor Dances is just slightly better because it's like, it's the resolution to the story. You get your happy ending. You get your everyone lives, and
which we really never see again.
No, the Doctor was telling the truth when he said, "Just this once."
Just this once, Rose. Everybody lives. Sorry.
And it was a really good ending without it feeling like contrived. It didn't feel like something that the Doctor pulled out of his butt.
Like Jack in Bad Wolf.
Yeah. There was a lot of really good build up to the resolution. It felt very natural.
It did. That's why it's my number 2. Just it makes me cry every time I watch it. And when something can make me cry, I'm already an emotional person, but if something can just always make me cry every time I see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, what was your number 3?
My number 3 was The Parting of the Ways, but we already discussed that one.
Well, I think we both know what our number 1 is then.
Yeah, and I'm not surprised with this one.
It is
Dalek.
The Timeless Children.
Oh gosh. We weren't gonna talk about it, Kendall.
Oh, I couldn't resist. It's
Okay,
Dalek, obviously.
it's Dalek.
Dalek is just like one of those near perfect episodes. It does have Adam in it, but like even Adam couldn't ruin this
I
episode.
mean, Adam wasn't nearly as bad in this one
This was the
because
episode where,
you don't blame him for flirting with Rose because he doesn't know she has a boyfriend.
yeah,
That's
no,
that's on Rose's part.
Adam is not like annoying or bad in this episode, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, just like the setting is very fun. I love the whole.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just love everything about this episode.
Yeah.
I love the lone Dalek like basically taking
Mm-hmm.
on an army. I love you know uh the Doctor's conflict in this episode,
Right. It's
and
just the Doctor in this episode was so beautiful. Just sheer amounts of fear. Like at first, he really wants to help his creature, finds out who it is, wants to kill it, and
yeah.
Christopher. This is where Christopher Eccleston shines in Doctor Who.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think definitely this episode has some of his best moments.
Mm-hmm, definitely, and that the ending where the Dalek is, where you can actually see the Dalek, and the Doctor's just got a gun pointed at it, which is scary when the Doctor has a gun, and just the sheer amounts of emotions he's portraying in that short amount of time is just beautiful.
And just like my favorite Rose moment of the season when she stands between the Doctor and his worst enemy and
Yep.
like asks him to see the humanity of
Mm-hmm.
not the humanity, but like,
And that's why the Doctor always needs someone to travel with him,
right.
just
Yeah, it's
because
so
he needs someone to remind him about humanity and just how anyone can change and everything, even him.
yeah, right. And she's not justifying the Dalek for what it's done.
Right.
She's not defending the Dalek's actions. She's just begging the Doctor, like, look at what you're doing. How is
Mm-hmm.
this better than
Right.
what your enemy has done?
Right. It's just some great parallels, and there's really some great things like for things going on today. Like people say Doctor Who's not political. It is.
Doctor
Shut
Who is
up.
always
Stop it. It's political.
Honestly, I kind of am of the opinion that pretty much every story is political because, like,
Yep.
you're going to, unless you're writing a story with zero conflict.
Yep.
Which, good luck making that interesting. But you're going to, you're going to show your priorities when you're writing a story. It's inevitable. You're going to show like what you really think and believe when you write a story.
Yeah, for sure.
Unless you just like, don't think or believe anything, which I've seen a couple of stories like that, I guess, where I'm like, what is this movie? What is this about?
Right.
What does this even mean?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I think that's all for the ranking. So now let's get into the spoiler territory where we can just discuss the series as a whole and how it goes with other Doctor Who stuff in the future.
Let's get into it.
Spoiler warning. I regenerated back. I didn't like my old voice.
I do prefer the very rumbly, thunderous tone.
What, you don't prefer the spoiler warning?
It feels like it feels offensive to like a type of person that doesn't really exist, but like
what?
I don't even know how to explain it. It just feels like you're making fun of a certain type of person, but that type of person doesn't actually exist in the real world. Like you're making fun of like a cartoon a cartoon bunny that
So I'm
you
making
think
fun
is
of
like,
Roger Rabbit.
I guess it's offensive to Roger Rabbit.
Oh, no, no.
And after everything Roger has been through, you know.
Mm, yeah. I mean, he was framed. It was, whew.
He was framed and people got melted or something.
That's
I don't
about
know.
all I know about Roger Rabbit.
It's been a while since
I,
I've seen that movie.
I'm not actually seen it, so.
There was this like sexy rabbit lady who wasn't actually a rabbit, but she was called. Oh, she was married to Roger Rabbit. That's why she was
Yeah.
called Jessica Rabbit.
Yeah.
I just now put that together.
Oh, really?
I'm like really dumb. I'm like, why is she called Jessica Rabbit if she's not a rabbit, but she's married to Roger Rabbit? Okay, I'm stupid.
Oh gosh. Well, thank you for joining us for our Who Framed Roger Rabbit podcast. Yeah, no, this series it's not my favorite season of New Who, but it's not my least favorite either.
No, I think it's a very solid season, especially for like, you know, a show returning after so much time and kind of
right.
In a way, I think they didn't quite know what they were doing yet.
Yeah, and like you had some like mentions of Bad Wolf, but then when the actual episode Bad Wolf and then the Parting of the Ways came out, like they had some anime flashbacks, and it's just like, yeah, it's not necessary.
Right. It wasn't quite as streamlined, I guess, in a way as later seasons.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
It didn't quite have the same consistency, like tonally either. You know, there would be some episodes with just like kind of very different tones from others, which you know that's always been a thing with Doctor Who, I guess. But I guess in a way, it's a little more glaring, especially when you have, you know, some episodes where you can tell like they had a lot more budget for this episode than this other one.
And you think about like something like season 5 of like the crack is just like you see it every once in a while, but it actually comes into play in the episodes in a very specific, important way. Like for Flesh and Stone, it actually becomes a big problem while they're already handling this other problem. And then what was it? Oh gosh, The Hungry Earth, Cold Blood. Where it actually devours Rory and he ceases to exist. Like, but in this one, it's just like Bad Wolf. Yeah, okay. On to the next thing.
Right. Bad Wolf isn't really plot relevant until the very last episode.
Although they do bring Bad Wolf back a few times, which was nice.
Yeah.
Like you have Turn Left. Like it's like Donna is talking to the doctor after all that stuff went down, and she's trying to remember who that person was. Like she's like, she never told me her name. She was blonde, and like you can see David Tennant's face get like really scared and everything. Like, who was she? And Donna's like, she told me to warn you. 2 words. Bad Wolf. And like, you don't expect that.
Yeah.
Like you've forgotten about Bad Wolf.
Right. And then we get another mention of it in the 50th special.
Right, the Day of the Doctor. And like that was done perfectly. I was really hoping they wouldn't actually bring Rose back. So they did it in a good way to bring Billie Piper back, but not Rose.
Right. I thought it was really well handled, and I enjoyed seeing like Bad Wolf kind of as like their own character. I don't know exactly how to refer to Bad Wolf. I'm going to just say her, but Bad Wolf has her own character. And just like her, I mean, a great Billie Piper performance.
Right. You know, that's probably my favorite performance from her in Doctor Who.
Yeah. Just like very strange, very
eccentric.
Inhuman. Yeah. Kind of eccentric. So I thought that was a really fun way to
Mm-hmm.
bring Bad Wolf back.
Mm-hmm. And like a lot of people are like, well, they're bringing David Tennant back as well. So are they going to be? Is this going to be during sometime during season 2?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the only time they travel together. And then other people speculated, well, this could be the Doctor from the other dimension with Rose. And like I automatically just kind of shoved that theory aside because he was wearing his brown pinstripe suit in the trailers and in all the promotions and everything, because the clone doctor, the Metacrisis doctor, wore the blue pinstripe suit.
Right, you wear your red pants when you're losing, so that nobody can tell when you've been shot, and then you wear your brown pants when you're really losing, so nobody can tell whether you're in the past or the future or whatever.
Yeah, I think you're mixing up Matt Smith's bow tie and suspenders stuff with Deadpool, because that's why Deadpool wears red. And he makes the joke, this guy made the right idea. He's wearing the brown pants.
Anyway.
Yeah.
What were we talking about?
I don't know. I think that's all we've got to say about series 1 as a whole, and just
yeah. I mean, again, great season.
This episode's more about our ranking anyway.
Yeah, I don't really have a whole lot to say about it in like the context of Doctor Who as a whole that we haven't really said before.
Right.
But I mean, I love some Chris Eccleston, and
it's sad to see him go after just one season.
It's very sad because he had a very mixed bag season, and I feel like if he had another season, it would have been just a lot more consistently good. I mean, I love this season, but it's the one I kind of tend to revisit not very often, just because it is a mixed bag.
It really is.
There's several episodes where I'm like, I don't really want to watch that episode. I don't really want to watch that episode.
Yeah, I feel you.
I find myself, I'll go back and like pick a couple favorites and maybe watch those, but I won't just like sit down and watch this season from start to finish.
I can understand that. All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us today. We will see you next time when we discuss and review the very first Christmas special, The Christmas Invasion.